going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and we got a lot to talk about on today's show. But first off, we're going to tackle some injury news heading into this Week 7 matchup between the Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions, as a couple of key players on the Vikings are expected to go. So we get you guys updates there. And then also the NFC North this past week. It was a beatdown that the Packers, Lions, and Bears displayed. So I'll be talking about the NFC North, saying that they are not only the best division this year in the NFL, but possibly one of the best of all time. And then also I got a hot take around Jordan Addison heading into the rest of the season for the Minnesota Vikings. But speaking of the Week 7 matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings, if you guys want the Vikes to beat the Lions, hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video. I put the goal as 1,000 likes. I expect you guys to blow that out of the water. Hit that thumbs up icon if you guys want our Minnesota Vikings to go to 6-0 on the NFL season. But let's dive into the injury news. So TJ Hockenson, I fully expect him to be back, and he will play this Sunday versus former team, the Detroit Lions. And you talk about motivation heading into any matchup, and TJ probably has just this massive chip built up on his shoulder, specifically with the Lions. They traded him 2 deadlines ago, and also Kirby Joseph, safety for the Lions, was the player that tore his ACL when they squared off last season. But Hawk will add, so much to this Vikings offense. Like, he truly is one of the best safety blankets in the NFL. And even though he started off the season last year struggling with drops, and, I didn't felt like he was creating the most separation throughout the first couple of weeks, but he really turned it around in the second half of the season last year. I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, he's probably a 100-plus reception guy, over 1,000 yards, and he also has some big playability, hence why he averaged 10.1 yards per catch. But we're finally seeing the full arsenal of Vikings weapons coming together. Now, we will talk about Aaron Jones and his injury here in a second, but you're getting Addison, Jefferson, Hawk, and Darisaw all on the field at the same time. It is fantastic. I mean, I couldn't imagine being an opposing team's defensive coordinator trying to figure out how you're going to stop this Vikings team. And the thing that Hawk adds, which is so special, is just that safety blanket. Like, I'm watching tight ends in the NFL this past week when I was just sitting back enjoying the bye and I was able to watch all the games. Like, having a true great receiving option at tight end is, excuse me, especially when you have a quarterback that, like Sam Darnold, who needs that safety blanket, it helps so much. So 87, I think he's going to have a big game versus the Lions. I don't know if he's going to, statistically, blow everybody away, but I fully expect at least a 5-reception, 50-yard game from Hawk this weekend. Now, I do want to get you guys some terrible news, and, I'm never going to root for injuries for an opposing team. I'm just going to put that out there. But some terrible news for the Detroit Lions. I don't know if you guys saw the play, but Aidan Hutchinson yesterday in their blowout win versus the Dallas Cowboys, he ended up breaking his tibia. So he is out for the season. It was a very gruesome injury, so, hopefully all will be good, and he'll be able to make a full recovery. And I'll tell you what, Aidan Hutchinson was off to an unbelievable start to this year. He was leading the league in sacks as he had 7, and look at the pressure number on the right side of your screen. He had 40 pressures after this game versus the Cowboys. Like, he was truly having a fantastic season. And, just call a spade here. Like, this is a massive loss for the Lions. It's not like the Lions had an incredibly deep edge group. So losing their top dog, losing their blue chipper, this stinks for Lions fans. I feel bad for them. And I just also feel awful for Hutchinson. I felt like he was a perfect culture fit as he played his collegiate ball at Michigan, got drafted by the Lions, hometown kid. He really embraced that Dan Campbell culture. So, I just feel bad for him. Hopefully he will be able to make a full recovery and be back suiting up for the Lions next season. But the injury update around Aaron Jones, he is going to be listed as questionable heading into this game, still dealing with that hip injury. Now, I don't expect him to go, so I expect a whole lot of Ty Chandler out there, maybe a guy like Myles Gaskin as well. But I do want to talk about, Sam Darnold, when he does not have Aaron Jones, the numbers are staggering. Now, this is one of my biggest concerns is how Darnold's going to be able to play with Aaron Jones off the field, because we see the numbers with him on the field. Completion percentage up by 17%. Yards per pass up by 2.7. Touchdown to interception ratio, he's got 5 more touchdowns when he's on the field. And his passer rating, it's a difference of 50 points. So we see the impact that Aaron Jones has for our quarterback. And, the best safety blanket. We were just talking about TJ Hockenson, but in reality, the best safety blanket you can have is a star running back. And the advanced numbers showed that as well. Like, he forced 16 missed tackles. He had 9 10-plus yard runs, and his rushing yards over expected was top 10 in the National Football League at plus 41, and also he had plus .58 rushing yards over expected per attempt. Then also, it's not like he was getting 6, 7-man boxes. He was top 5 in 8-man boxes shown this season. So clearly teams, even though we have Jefferson on the outside and Addison, they understand if you want to stop this Vikings offense, it starts with stopping the run. So I'm looking at a guy like Ty Chandler. I think Ty Chandler could step in and be very impactful. Now, let's just say Aaron Jones were to have to miss maybe a month or two, I would want the Vikings to make a move at the running back spot. But if he's just going week to week, I'm fine with rolling out with Ty Chandler. You know, you could get a guy like Myles Gaskin touches. And, you know, even though the stats for Chandler aren't staggering, you know, only averaging about 3.5 yards per carry, still 42 carries, 147 yards. I would like to see Kevin O'Connell versus the Detroit Lions get that quick passing game going, because you do have Hawk back. I mean, he can take a 5-yard out, turn it into 10, 11 yards, and that could be your kind of supplement for a running game. Also get Jefferson the ball, get Addison the ball. But overall, I think the Vikings will be fine without Jones this week and probably against the Rams on Thursday Night Football. But again, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But, you know, even though we are a Vikings channel, I still want to show some love to Aidan Hutchinson. It was a gruesome injury, and, you know, never want to root for injuries. And plus, like, you know, personally with my team, I want them to play the opposing team at full strength. So this is obviously very unfortunate for Hutchinson. So if you guys want to show him some love, type his jersey number 97 down below. You know, wishing nothing but the best for him. But let's talk about it. The NFC North this past week, it was just a beatdown. Like, the NFC North, who would have thought heading into this year that they would be as good as they are? Well, actually, I did. I told you guys that the NFC North will be the best division in football. And, you know, yesterday we started off with the London game. Early on in the morning, the Bears absolutely dismantled the Jags after a slow first quarter for Chicago, but they really beat down on them. A 35-16 win across the pond. And then the noon slate, the Packers ended up beating the Arizona Cardinals with a final score of 34-13. Packers got a big-time win there. I thought they looked good. I thought their offense was really getting back going. And their defense actually did a hell of a job on Kyler Murray. But then even the Lions just dismantled the Cowboys yesterday. I saw that coming from a mile away. They couldn't stop the run game, and that's the one thing about this Lions team. I know the Vikings have been so good against the run this year, only giving up like 66 yards per game. But this is a different beast. This is a physical football team. They're going to try to get downhill and control this game, and that's exactly what they did against the Cowboys. Got one of the best offensive play callers in the league in Ben Johnson, as he's really getting back into full swing here. But Schefter tweeted out this interesting stat. The NFC North is now the first division since realignment in 2002 with all 4 teams having at least 4 wins through 6 weeks. And also an interesting stat on the NFC North, before the Monday Night Football game, they have the top 4 point differentials in the entire league. So gets me to this. I think this is going to be an iron sharpens iron situation where maybe the Vikings record, like originally I had them after the bye going 14-3. Maybe it's going to be more 12-5, dropping a couple of games of division. But I think it would be better for this team in the long haul. Now, this is going to be a wild end to the season, but I will say this. I am still skeptical about Green Bay and Chicago. And we can start off with the Bears here. You know, I don't want to take anything away from what they've done. You can only play teams who are on your schedule. But if you look at their schedule compared to the Vikings, it is night and day. Like, the Bears going against, like, the Jags, the Titans, the Colts, like, those are easier matchups compared to what the Vikings have had to gone through with, like, the Texans, Packers, and, you know, Jets and Niners. And also the Bears were able to get the Rams when they were completely depleted. So I'm still skeptical about the Bears, but I'm also skeptical about the Packers. You know, it just something seems, even though they dismantled the Cardinals yesterday, just something seems a little off with them. So in my opinion, I think the NFC North will come down to the Vikings and the Lions. Now, I don't only think like the Lions and the Vikings are going to be, you know, competing for the NFC North. I think they're going to be competing for the number 1 seed in the conference. So this game, Week 7, it is the biggest home game for the Vikings since probably their playoff home game against the New York Giants a couple years ago in the playoffs. So, you know, Lions, they're a wagon. They're coming in hot. They're fully clicking on all cylinders offensively. So it's going to be very interesting to see, you know, Brian Flores versus Ben Johnson. We will be having a preview on the channel tomorrow, breaking down everything you need to know about this ball game. But before we dive into the Jordan Addison hot take, I do want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Will the Vikings win the NFC North? What are your thoughts as it stands right now following the Week 6 matchups with the Packers, Lions, and Bears? Let me know your thoughts. Will the Vikes win the NFC North down below? Now, coming up next on the show, I got a hot take around Jordan Addison as why I think he may absolutely dominate this second half of the season. But before we dive into that, I do want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app, use promo code ChatSports. You guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Now, Game Time has a brand new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks allows you to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite feature of the Game Time app is the Views from Your Seat feature, which helps you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Now, tickets for the Lions-Vikings game are expensive. They're over $300. If you guys want to get $20 off, use promo code ChatSports on your first purchase. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. I'll have that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. So what's my hot take around Jordan Addison? I think he is going to absolutely dominate for the Minnesota Vikings offense following this bye week. Now, this is something I've talked about multiple times on the channel this past week, is that I think my one gripe with the Vikings offense is not getting number 3 the football more, because, his stats on the year, it's not like they're bad. He only played in 3 games. So he was dealing with that ankle injury. I understand that, but this man is too talented not to get him the ball more. Only 9 receptions, 143 yards, found the end zone 2 times, which is great, but he is too talented not to get the ball in his hands more. And plus, we talk about the 18 effect so much here on the channel, where it's like, if Jefferson's one-on-one, you throw that ball his way. But if he's getting the safety help, if they're rolling the coverage over his way, this man right here should have one-on-one opportunities throughout the entire matchup. And if we're just talking about the Lions specifically, they got a really good corner in Carlton Davis. I'm assuming he is going to travel with Justin Jefferson throughout the entire game, which means Jordan Addison, one-on-one with the Lions' second corner, I'm calling it right now. He is going to go for over 100 yards and a touchdown in this game next week. And also this, I think Kevin O'Connell, post-bye week, I bet you he hopped in his bag and he is going to be dialing it up for number 3. No doubt about it. And, you also just talk about, if you're an opposing team, having the guard, Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, you got to roll the coverage 18's way. He's the best non-quarterback in the National Football League. Now you add the safety blanket of TJ Hockenson. Are you going to leave him one-on-one with a linebacker? I hope you do. And then if you do give Hockenson attention, you just don't have enough players to double-team Jordan Addison. So he should be one-on-one a whole lot for the rest of the season, and I think he's going to have a massive, massive finish. So, Jordan Addison, that's my hot take post-bye week. He's going to absolutely tear it up for this Vikings offense. But before we get out of here, I do want to say thank you guys so much for the support on the channel as of late. You guys have been absolutely killing it. The numbers have been crazy, and it really is all credit to you guys. So thank you so much, again, to everybody who watches all of our videos. And if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Help us reach 37,000 subs before Week 7 versus the Detroit Lions. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. As always, Skol Vikes.